Hi guys, so today we are going to be doing CHING number 97. So the first two items actually did go to a subscriber named Tina. The first thing that she purchased was a Perfume MD Amine facelift. This sold for $34.99 and that did come from an auction, one of the beauty trays that I won at an auction. Same with this next item that she also purchased was another Perfume MD. This was called the Chlorophyll Detox Mask that sold for $15.99. And like I said, that came from the same tray at the auction. Do have a couple of subscriber sales in this cha-ching. This next item also went to a subscriber named Allison. This was for a Fire King Sagittarius mug that sold for $13.99. I kind of forget where I purchased that. I don't remember if it was a yard sale or maybe like a fill-a-bag rummage sale. I'm thinking it was. So this next item was just like a random cloth feed sack bag that sold for $9.99. This came on a tray of just some random stuff that I won at an auction. Just decided to take a chance and list it, and it did sell. Next item went to a subscriber named Lisa. This was for a Mickey Mouse postcard that also sold for $9.99. And I feel like I did have that for a while, and I'm pretty sure that came on a tray that I won at an auction that was just full of like Disney memorabilia type things. It was a lot of pins and ephemera type of pieces on there that were all Disney related. I sold a Bill Elliott hat for $19.99. Again, this was an auction purchase. At one point, Eric won a tray full of, it was mainly Bill Elliott racing hats, and we have sold quite a few of those. I also sold a Funko Five Nights at Freddy's Bonnie for $69.99. I also sold a California Raisins figure for $23.99. Typically I do come across the California Raisins PVC figures. This one I had never seen before. It was a little bit larger and he was playing a piano. I'm not sure if I picked him up at a yard sale or a rummage sale, but he was actually worth a little bit more than some of the other like smaller figures that you see more often. Next we have a Lancome Midnight Rose perfume that sold for $49.99, and that came, I don't know, as usual, I don't remember. I feel like I may have picked that up at a thrift store a while back. So we'll say I paid maybe $3-4 for it. I sold a Space Shuttle pencil box filled with just vintage pencils and erasers, and there were stickers in there and just all sorts of like vintage school supplies type of items. Some of the stuff that was in there was mine, some of it was my aunt's. So I did put back her half of the money on that. But that did sell for $19.99. The next item we have is an Aramis Devon mini cologne. So this was just a miniature bottle of Aramis cologne that sold for $16.99, and that came from an auction. I know I've talked about it before where I won like a bunch of miniature perfumes and colognes and stuff like that. I sold a PA Merchant Tokens book for $39.99. Eric won this at an auction. I'd say he paid maybe $5 or so for it. I also sold a top by a company called Rana Gill that sold for $39.99. I'm not sure if it was a yard sale or a thrift store. I'm thinking it was a thrift store, so I want to say I paid $3 or $4 for it. Next item was a Native American wedding vase that sold for $29.99. That came from a yard sale, and I'd say I paid about $5 for that. I sold a Miami MD eye repair serum for $29.99. That also came from a beauty tray at the auction. I am like known in the auction and estate sale world that I am like the beauty lady as far as like I'm always purchasing perfumes, skincare, and all of that type of stuff whenever I go to auctions and estate sales. Last time I went to an estate sale, the lady's like, oh, you're the girl that buys all of the perfumes and stuff and the makeup, and I was like, yep, that's me. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I love selling it. Next we have a lot, this was a large lot of Mrs. Grossman's stickers that sold for $49.99. Those came on a tray I won at the auction. It was like a mishmash of stuff on the tray, but I was mainly interested in these stickers because I knew large lots of them sold really well. I think I did pay $10 for the tray, but then, you know, there were other stuff on the tray. I did list some of the other stuff on the tray, and then the other stuff will just be put back for like a flea market or that type of thing. Next we have this was interesting. This was a ceramic cemetery vase. It was an older cemetery vase where you would, you know, put flowers and stuff in it. That sold for $39.99. That came from an auction, and it was with something else that I purchased, because a lot of the times at the auction, they'll randomly like put something with something else kind of thing, and this just came with something else that I was more interested in. But when I did the research and looked it up, I found out that it was actually, you know, what its main intention purpose was, and I found out that they were selling pretty decently, so I was like, all right. So I went ahead and listed it, and it sold. Next was a hanging pottery planter. This was signed Bob Pittman. That sold for $39.99. I picked that up at a yard sale, and I'd say I paid $5 or less for it. I also sold a Trip Light USB hub for $39.99. Eric picked this up at an auction. I feel like he paid, again, $5 or less for it. Next item was for a vintage mug. This was kind of like an advertising piece for the Seven Springs Ski Resort. That sold for $19.99, and I got that at Goodwill a while back, and I'm pretty sure I paid $1.99 for it. I sold a Dooney and Burke summer clutch purse for $39.99. That did come from Goodwill as well, and I feel like that was maybe $3.99 or $4.99. I sold a lot of vintage, these were called Twista plot books. So these are the type of books where you read and you get to a certain part of the story, and then you can choose. It's like the choose your own adventures type books. So it would go to like a different page, and each time it could be like a different ending to a story. Those came from an auction. I had won like a decent sized stack of just some older books, and I decided to lot those all together. There were other books within the lot, again, I was more interested in, but these were actually selling as well, and they sold for $19.99. I sold a Nintendo 64 Wheel of Fortune game for $29.99. That also came from an auction. I feel like Eric at one point won kind of like a stack of vintage video games, and that was in there. I sold a lot of 2 Essie nail polishes for $5.99. These I just had for a while. I kind of have a slight hoard of nail polish, and I really do need to go through it, because some of them I've had for a while and I'm sure are just getting to be gunky. You know how nail polish can get after a while. Like I need to take the time someday and just go through my nail polish, organize, and throw away some. I love painting my nails, I always have. I feel like sometimes I don't take the time like I used to sit down and do them up all nicely like I used to do. But it is something that I do like to do when I have time. It's kind of just a relaxing thing for me. I don't get mine done. I've never gotten my nails done professionally in my life. I've always kind of wanted to go, but you know, I feel like it's just something I can do myself, so why would I pay for it, kind of thing. Next item we have is an advanced skincare. This was called a Rapid Wrinkle Eraser. So this person purchased 2 bottles of these. So the total was $91.98. And again, those came from a beauty tray at the auction. Same with this next item. This was a Josie Marin Vanilla Wafer Body Butter. That sold for $14.99. And that also came from a beauty tray at the auction. I sold a Mini Boyd's Peppermint Bear. This was like a peaker bear. That sold for $9.99. That probably came from a yard sale, so 25 cents, 50 cents for that. I sold a Torrid Skull Print Cami for $25.99. This came from a yard sale. I purchased it a couple years ago. It has been a while since I had that. I also had a pair of matching shorts, but they were 2 different sizes, so I decided to sell them separately because I didn't know if the person buying it would also be, you know, one size on the bottom as opposed to a different size on top, and yada yada. So I did sell them separately, and I sold the shorts first, so they were already gone. Anyway, that sold for $25.99. Got that at a yard sale, and I'd say I paid $3 for it. Next we have another Miami MD Lift and Firm Neck Cream. Again, this person purchased 2 jars of this, and that was a total of $79.98. And again, beauty tray from an auction. Same way with this next item, another Five Nights at Freddy's plushie. This one was for Golden Freddy, which, oh my gosh, take a look at that price tag. I sold him for $299.99. Came from a tray at the auction. I'd say I was paying $20 or less for these trays full of Five Nights at Freddy's plushies at the auction, and this guy was on one of them. I made so much money off of the Five Nights at Freddy's plushies. It's just insane. I had no idea that there was that much money to be made on those. Apparently other people didn't, but I always do my research. So yeah, that was a great sale. Next item we have is a ceramic. This was like a little ceramic kitchen sponge holder, basically. It even had like a little sponge in it. That's over $12.99. That came from an auction. I paid $1 for it. You know, some people decorate their kitchens in certain themes, like lemons and apples and roosters and grapes and wine and that type of stuff. I don't have a theme to my kitchen. It's just kind of a mishmash, really. I have these like little fruit sitters that I have on like the ledge right above my sink. I have like a laurel birch teapot up on one of my shelves. It's just, there's no real rhyme or reason to my decorating, I guess. But I know that there are people out there who specifically look for things like, you know, if someone has a lemon themed kitchen, they're gonna be looking for lemon themed items to decorate their kitchen with. So when I saw that, that was like my first thought. So to get it for $1, $12.99 to sell it for, I think it's pretty good. Next item was a Kitty Collier. This was a toner doll that sold for $89.99. That did come from an auction. At one point I went to an auction and it was like mainly dolls, and these toner dolls can sell really, really well. I had never heard of them before until that day. So now I know if I ever come across one to definitely pick it up. Let's see, I sold a complete set of guideposts, Mysteries of Silver Peak books. Eric purchased these at a yard sale. He paid 10 cents a piece, 10 cents each book. That complete series sold for $149.99. We got quite a few complete series of books that day, all 10 cents a piece books. And I'm pretty sure we sold every set we had. I'm not sure if there's any more listed or not. But yeah, that was a great score that day. I sold a pair of Sanita clogs. These had sugar skulls all over them. Really pretty. Those sold for $59.99. And Eric and I picked those up at a yard sale, and I think we paid $10 for them. I sold a Clinique Aromatics Elixir perfume for $39.99. I'm pretty sure, like, I have 2 bottles of this, and I think I haven't listed the other one yet. I'm pretty sure this one came from the box I purchased off of Belinda when I went to her yard sale. Belinda watches my videos sometimes, so Belinda, if you're watching, hello. I went to her yard sale one day and I purchased like a box of perfume. She gave me an amazing deal on it. I still haven't listed all of the perfumes that were in the box, but I'm pretty sure this one came from the box that she sold to me. Next I sold a Holt Howard Pixie Elf for $26. This came from an auction, and I'd say I paid $3 for him. I also sold a Euphoria Calvin Klein. This was called a Sensual Touch perfume for $25.99. That also came from the box I purchased from Belinda. I sold a set of 2 cedar wood flying geese wall hangers for $16. These were free. I picked them out of a free box at a yard sale, so that's always fun. Next item did go to a subscriber named Nadine. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of one of my mom's best friends' name is Nadine. She's the sweetest lady ever. She's really the only one of my mom's friends that still takes the time to call me and check up on me like every month to see, you know, how I'm doing and ask, you know, how I am and all of that good stuff. So I appreciate her so much. So anytime I see that name, I think of her. She purchased a pair of Rika sneakers from me. Those sold for $39.99. I'm pretty sure these came from a yard sale, and I'd say I paid $5 for them. I sold a lot of Animaniacs plushies. These sold for $99.99. I was kind of blown away by these too. I did take the time to look these up only because, really, the only reason I was interested in these was because I never really see Animaniacs items while I'm out. These came from an auction, and when I looked them up, I was like kind of blown away. Wasn't expecting to see the prices that they were selling for. Those I think I paid about $20 for that lot. I sold a vintage from 1986 GoBots roller for $9.99. This came from a yard sale, and I paid $0.25 for it. Next item, I'm pretty sure went to a subscriber named Paula. This was a 5 Nights at Freddy's plushie of the cupcake that sold for $59.99. I say pretty sure subscriber only because sometimes I get repeat buyers, and I know there was a bunch of repeat buyers of people who were purchasing my 5 Nights at Freddy's plushies who I don't necessarily think were subscribers, but you know, were just buying a lot of my Funko plushies. So Paula, if you are a subscriber, thank you for your purchase. Next item we have, okay, this was interesting. This was for an oil painting signed by an artist named Dolores Hackenberger. Got this at an auction. I'd say I paid $10 or less for it. So for $129.99. Her pieces can sell for a lot of money. I am not the type of person who sells a lot of artwork and paintings and prints and stuff like that, mainly because I don't know much about them at all. I just happened to see this at an auction. I thought it was really pretty. It was signed. So I searched the name and I was like, oh wow, like some of her stuff sells really well. So we're just going to go ahead and take a chance on this, and I'm glad that we did. Next item we have is an Estes Sky Ranger. This was an RC airplane that sold for $99.99. That actually came from an auction, and I'd say we paid maybe $30-ish for. Here's another 5 Nights at Freddy's plush. This was for Fazbear. He also sold for $99.99, and he was on one of those trays I won at the auction. This next item also came from an auction. This was a Clairsonic Mia 2. This sold for $99.99 as well. This was brand new. I'd say I paid $25 or so for it. They no longer actually make Clairsonics. I think they're made by another company now, or they go by a different name. So if you ever come across any of the original Clairsonics, I definitely consider purchasing them because, like I said, they don't make them anymore. I actually found one at a yard sale not that long ago. I think I paid $5 for it, but I decided to keep that one. Next item was for a Lefton Heirloom Rose tea set that sold for $59.99. That came from an auction, and I'd say I paid maybe $20 for it. This next, why do I do this? Why do I do this? I feel like I just did this in my last, I did this in my last CHING. I have down here, okay, I sold a Dooney and Burke wallet for $39.99. And typically, when I know it's a subscriber, I put their name beside the item, and instead of a name, I just wrote subscriber. Like, why did I do that? So I don't have a name for this. I apologize. So again, if you are the one who purchased this item, let me know down in the comments. I will pin your comment so I can give you credit for it with your name. I apologize for that. I don't know what I'm thinking sometimes. It's always at the end. That was number 48. And my last cha-ching, it was number 44. Oh my goodness. I am just a mess sometimes. Anyway, that wallet, I believe, did come from a yard sale. Next item was a Josie Marin Daily Moisturizer that sold for $29.99, and that came from a beauty tray that I won at the auction. It was a lot of Josie Marin, a lot of Miami MD, there was Perricone MD, just all sorts of like higher end brands skincare items. Same with this last item, which was an advanced skincare rapid wrinkle eraser. This person purchased 2 bottles for a total of $91.98. And again, beauty tray from the auction. So that's why I like picking up the beauty trays at the auctions because there's a lot of money to be made in high-end skincare. So that is everything for this cha-ching. We are definitely creeping up on the 100th cha-ching. I'm also trying to put things back, like while I'm writing out my cha-chings, anything that is like Halloween related, I'm putting off into like a Halloween related cha-ching that I'll do sometime in October. Just for something different. I'm gonna try to do a couple of like Halloween type themed videos. I have been recording, Eric and I have been going to antique stores here lately, specifically looking for Halloween stuff. Not necessarily to resell, just like for us, for it to use as personal decorations and stuff like that. So I will have probably at least 1 or 2 of those types of like antiquing type videos specifically for Halloween. But as far as eBay goes, I feel like things are going pretty good. You know, sales are still popping off pretty well. I've been pleasantly pleased with some sales lately. So far so good. Everything is going really well. I think I hear Eric leaving, and I just hope that he didn't forget to take the grocery list. He's going to get groceries, and I always fear, because Eric is, we both, like, you know, are very forgetful sometimes, and I just fear that he left the grocery list downstairs. So I'll have to text that to him if he did. But anyway, yeah, super happy with how eBay sales are still going pretty strong. Still just trying to get like as much stuff possible listed. Some days like we can sit down and we can get like a decent amount listed, and then other days we're just so busy that not even one thing gets listed. And I mean, other stuff is getting accomplished those days, but sometimes I feel a little disheartened by it because I like to list every day, at least something. But yeah, like today is another pretty busy day because, you know, I have to record and edit a video. He's going to the grocery store, so like, you know, I can keep doing this and that type of thing. So, and then we have an auction preview to go to later. So yeah, I don't know how much it's going to be getting listed today, but yeah, so you'll have to let me know what you thought down in the comments, how things are going for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.